The movie opens up in the 19th century as a seagull flies above the Atlantic Ocean, where a ship is headed towards the United States of America. A young red-haired girl named Mary gets news that they are soon approaching land and gets extremely excited. She slides down to the middle deck and runs past several passengers, telling each one that they will soon arrive at their destination. After a while, she makes it to the bottom deck, where the blue-collar passengers are traveling in. There is a jolly good atmosphere there as her brother Tom is playing a violin while several other passengers are tap dancing. Mary tells her brother that they will soon arrive and grabs his hand. She then drags him to the upper deck where there is already a large crowd gathered. They wiggle their way forward and see their destination, the colossal megapolis of New York City. Nearby, there is some sort of a celebration going around the Statue of Liberty. Firecrackers go up and several boats surround the historical monument. Mary, overjoyed at this, says they are receiving a grand welcome to the city. Tom rightfully points out that these fireworks are not for them. However, Mary refuses to let her brother dampen her spirits and says they might as well be. Shortly afterwards, the ship lands, and all the passengers, who have primarily come from Ireland, disembark the giant vessel. The kids sit nearby and Mary waves goodbye to several passengers that she made friends with during the voyage. It is revealed that the kids have come all the way from Ireland to New York to meet their uncle, Niall. Their father has passed away recently, and Niall is the only person that they can call family. In particular, Mary seems to be very upbeat about meeting their uncle, and finally having someone that can care for them. She even has a black and white photo of Niall and her father, and exclaims that they look incredibly similar. Tom, on the other hand, says that their father was physically stronger. As Mary begins to check different people's faces with the face of their uncle in the photo, Tom begins to grow restless. He wonders out loud, what if Uncle Niall doesn't come? Mary points out that he did reply to the letter that their old grandmother had sent him. She then gives her brother half of a sandwich that she had packed for the journey. Grateful for something to eat, Tony grabs it as well as the photo of their dad and uncle. Suddenly, a small white puppy comes near the spot they are currently seated on. It sees Mary chomping on the sandwich and begins wagging its tail. The little girl then hops down from the crate she is sitting on and offers it the sandwich. The puppy happily eats the sandwich when Tom turns around and notices it. Almost immediately, he tells his sister that she cannot keep the pup. The witty Mary says she never talked about keeping the pup. She never went to the adorable animal, it came to her. In response, Tom says he knows how soft-hearted she is. This seems to work, and Mary finally says she begins bargaining with her brother to keep the puppy, and even names it Barky. Tom, fully aware of their reality, says she cannot keep the puppy because they won't be able to feed it. However, Mary promises that she will only keep it until their Uncle Niall shows up. This time, Tom relents and allows his little sister to get the pet. Unbeknownst to her, she has been crossing her fingers while making the promise. Several hours pass by, and although Mary seems as lively as ever, Tom is beginning to have his doubts. He loudly exclaims that the only person they know in the United States might not come to fetch them. Mary then says that if he won't come to them, they can go to him. After all, they have his address, thanks to the letter he had sent to their old grandma. She tries to read it out loud, but being just a child has difficulty in pronouncing the words. Tom then takes the letter and reads the address, 65 Front Street, Sacramento, California. Nonetheless, this doesn't improve Tom's mood at all. He says that California is thousands of miles away from the place that they are currently in, which is New York. Mary, ever the optimistic, suggests that they should take the train to cover the distance. She knows that her brother loves train journeys and tries to leverage that to get him hop on the plan. However, Tom appears reluctant and says they have to think first before simply going gong-ho. It is also revealed that they have adoption papers that Uncle Niall needs to sign within 2 weeks, or it will all be null and void. Mary then asks if he has a better plan, and Tom looks around cluelessly and sees that everything near the harbor seems to be closed. Eventually, he agrees to his sister's plan and agrees to get a train to Sacramento. After asking a lot of locals about the direction, Tom, Mary, and their pet, Barky, finally make it to Central Station. The man in the ticket counter tells them that they are extremely lucky as the westbound train is to leave in exactly an hour. Tom happily asks for 2 tickets, but is quickly told that the currency he has, the Irish dollar, doesn't work here. To purchase the ticket, they will need to get American dollars. Now, with only 1 hour left to catch the train, the kids decide to get the money by doing what they can. Tom plays the violin, and Mary tap dances on it, for which they get some cents. Mary also performs a few magic tricks with the dexterous Barky and gets some more coins. They gather what they have and get back to the counter. However, the man there says that the money they have is not even enough for a single ticket. There is only 5 minutes left for the train to depart, and Tom begins to lose hope. He claims that only a miracle can save them from this mess now. Right at that moment, an old man appears near the entrance. There is a whole host of children following him, all of whom happen to be in and around the same age as the siblings. Mary sees this group heading towards the checkout zone and realizes they are also headed in the same direction. So, she turns her brother's head and says that the miracle has indeed happened. Shortly afterwards, the siblings mix among the group quietly, although the other kids do notice them. They soon reach the checkout zone where the old man hands the station official 20 tickets for the kids. Initially, the officer starts counting the kids one by one, much to the dismay of the siblings. But, soon the kids being kids start running in every direction possible. This makes the officer's job almost impossible, and with the train leaving in a few minutes, he gives up. He allows all the children to pass through, including the siblings. Once they are on the other side, the siblings try to go their own way. We also see Tom being absolutely mesmerized by the train. But, the old man who has been looking after the kids tells them not to get separated from the rest of the group. The siblings take this opportunity and board the train along with the group. However, they realize that the places are occupied, but luckily, some kind girls leave them a place on the shore. The person in charge of the group believes that they are other passengers, and, knowing that they are orphans, she lets them stay in the car. She confesses that she is taking those children to look for new homes since it seems they will be adopted. At that moment, Mary meets a boy named Nick, who is in a wheelchair, and notices that he doesn't play like the others. Mary spends some time playing with the local girls, but the wagon inspector is about to pass by. The girls manage to distract him so that he can't see them, so it seems that they are saved for the moment. The boys are very grateful to her for this. Mary wants to invite Nick to play, but the manager tells her that Nick can barely move, so it seems he can't play with them. At the same time, Tom passes between the cars, where he runs into a bad-tempered man who doesn't seem trustworthy. But Tom just keeps moving forward. He reaches the locomotive since he likes trains, and in an attempt to catch the dog that was being naughty, the drivers discover him. They quickly take him down from there because it is dangerous. However, when they realize that Tom loves trains because his father was a driver, they decide to let him sound the horn, and he even helps them with some things, which makes the boy very excited. Meanwhile, Mary tries to integrate Nick as best she can, and we begin to notice that his mobility is improving. Then they arrive at one of the first destinations where many of the boys, including Nick, get off. Nick says goodbye to Mary since it seems that he has found his family. However, the bad thing is that the adoptive parents change their minds at the last minute, so Nick returns to the car with the others. At the same time, some of the villain's henchmen arrive, with whom they make a plan to come up with later. Mary spends her time playing with Nick and cheering him up, while the boys continue hiding from the inspector. They encounter some small problems, but as always, Tom fixes the situation. The train stops for a while, as it seems to be refueling, so Mary and Tom take Nick to see the buffaloes. Mary wants them to go see the buffaloes more closely, and they end up convincing Tom since he sees that Nick also wants to do it. The boys approach the buffalo, and Nick wants to pet one. Mary helps him, and Nick is very excited, believing it is the best day of his life. However, the bad thing is that the train starts to move, and no matter how hard the boys try, it seems they cannot catch it in time. A girl who managed to see them before falling asleep wants to notify the manager, but she is very busy and tells her that she will attempt to tend to her in a moment. Tom feels guilty for listening to Mary, but Nick assures him that it's not his fault. Luckily, they see a manual cart that Tom sets out to fix so that they can catch up to the train. Meanwhile, the villain's henchmen enter the carriages, planning to rob and take everyone as hostages. Later, the boys go to their cart, but realize that the train has stopped. They notice arrows all over the place, so they take some things and start camping. However, at nightfall, Mary wakes up and realizes that they are surrounded by coyotes. They have to face the coyotes, and Tom manages to distract them while the others take the opportunity to get in the cart. At the same time, the dog helps them fend off the coyotes. The boys manage to get on the cart, and Tom and the dog also get on. But the bad thing is that one of the coyotes also gets on, and it seems that Tom has hurt his foot. Mary is in the sight of one of the coyotes, but at that moment, she manages to distract it and throw it out of the cart. They continue moving but run out of water, so they stop to drink more. Tom doesn't seem to be very well on his feet, and Mary tries to help him. Unfortunately, a tribe appears and takes them away. They separate Tom from the others, and Mary fears she has lost him. At that moment, the leader of the tribe arrives, and Mary tries to talk to him by imitating their language. However, she soon realizes that he speaks Spanish perfectly. She also notices that the tribe is kind and that they have even just treated Tom's injury. Mary learns that the bandits use tricks to try to frame the tribe, which they often do. The leader lets them stay with the tribe, and Tom recovers. The leader introduces them to his granddaughter, Red Moon. That night, they have a dance by the campfire, and Mary helps Red Moon keep the rhythm of the drums. Red Moon imagines dancing with her. The next day, Red Moon shows them many things they do in this place while Mary helps Tom try them. We also notice that Tom is very interested in Red Moon and is getting closer to her as the days pass. Tom seems to have improved, so the tribe directs them to meet the people of the city. They say goodbye and give them an emergency whistle in case they need it. However, they soon run into the villain and his henchmen. Believing they are the good guys, they follow them and are taken to a mine where many people are working. They are made to support the workers by bringing them water. In the mine, they also run into the person in charge of the boys, who is happy to see them. However, Tony Kerr falls and gets into trouble, but luckily another man named Nan arrives and helps them against the villains. At that moment, the villain intervenes and stops everything, sending everyone back to their places. Later during dinner, they try to figure out how to escape while noticing that the manager and Nan get along very well with each other. The next day, they continue the activities, and we see the manager save Nan from a falling rock, leading to them falling in love with each other. Meanwhile, the boys continue distributing water throughout the mine. They are asked to go to the top to give water to the leader, but since they can't climb up, Nan ends up taking care of it. On the other hand, the leader is counting the gold he has found in the last few days, but he believes it is very little. The leader asks the miners to continue searching with more enthusiasm and gives them a whip to hurry them up. Meanwhile, Tom and Mary, who had just arrived, overhear that in 2 days, the mine will be closed and that the villain plans to get rid of everyone. Alarmed, they let the others know and begin to make a plan to escape. They even consider calling the tribe, remembering the special whistle they were given. That night, Mary can't sleep, so Tom sings her a song that their father used to sing before he passed away. They notice that the others are fascinated by the song. This leads to a conversation about why they came to the mine. Tom and Mary reveal that they were searching for their uncle. They show Nan a photo of their father, and it is then that they find out that Nan is their uncle. Nan explains that he was on his way to the port to meet them, but thieves robbed his train, and he ended up being taken to the mine. The next day, they put their escape plan into action. The boys prepare water mixed with fruits that are bad for the stomach and quickly give it to the ruffians. Soon all the ruffians need to go to the bathroom at the same time, creating more and more distractions. The boys attempt to escape in a carriage, but the villain realizes what's happening and quickly sends his henchmen after them. A chase ensues between the carriages, and the boys realize they are about to be caught. Luckily, Nia arrives just in time to save the day. She manages to distract the ruffians, allowing the boys to escape. The boys quickly use the special whistle to call the tribe. Shortly after, their dog returns, having brought the authorities with him. At the same time, the tribe also arrives. However, the bad thing is that the guards want to arrest them. Fortunately, the boys manage to tell everyone the truth, clearing their names. Together, they all make a plan where the tribe infiltrates first to open the doors. Now the exciting part begins. Meanwhile, the villain has everything ready and is preparing to leave. But at that moment, the tribe arrives, and the confrontation begins. The boys manage to reach the cell where the others are held, but they realize they need a key. Tom tries to take it from one of the ruffians, but he realizes it won't be easy. However, with Red Moon's help, they manage to obtain the key and soon free the others just as the guards arrive and seem to have the situation under control. The villain traps Mary and uses her as a shield to take the gold as he tries to escape. The villain is also trapped, but the bad thing is that Mary seems unresponsive. However, she soon remembers Tom's voice, which helps her wake up. She reunites with the others and is praised by the leader of the tribe, who tells her she is very brave and gives her the nickname Buffalo Kid. Later, everything returns to normal, and it seems that everyone is about to return to their paths. Some are worried about finding a family for Nick, but the person in charge mentions that, together with Nan, they will form a family and want Nick's brothers to be part of it. Nick seems happy with this decision.